The temperatures dropped again this week, and we got some wet snow. But mostly, it was a steady rain. It did not quit precipitating for about 4 days straight. And of course, the streams are running high, and you can see all the debris that got washed up. We almost don't even need this bridge anymore. The deer were congregating into large herds again and taking advantage of the bird feeders. But it still felt like spring, especially toward the end of the week when the sun finally came out. Our earliest spring plants have come back, including this coltsfoot in bloom and some wild leeks sprouting. And we're beginning to see more life in the mud puddles. We've pretty much finished cleaning out the bluebird boxes, and along the way found an old cecropia cocoon that did not make it through the winter. We found a couple more red squirrels utilizing the boxes, and noticed that the coyotes have been eating crayfish. We've not seen much of the beavers lately. The trail cams reveal that they've been coming out in the middle of the night. However, there's no lack of activity at the beaver ponds. Here's Roddy and his new mate, who we've dubbed Lydia, dabbling for food. Just a quick recap, Roddy has nested here with his old mate Emily for several years in a row. However, all the attempts were unsuccessful. All the nests were depredated by either coyotes or raccoons. When Roddy returned last fall, after a month or two of not seeing him, he was alone, indicating that Emily, his old mate, had probably passed away. The pair seems to be in nesting mode again. Hopefully they'll choose a safer place, maybe the old beaver lodge, rather than on the banks where they are more vulnerable. One afternoon, while escaping the wet snow in a shelter by the beaver pond that we built, a mink ran right in front of me. Unfortunately, all I had was my phone, so I couldn't track it on video for very long. The next afternoon, however, I did manage to catch a shrew on camera a few times. If you can pick it out from these quick glances, the nose that looks like it's been sharpened in a pencil sharpener is an easy identification tool. The rarest sighting we had this week at the beaver pond was this raptor. We never got a great look at it, but we kept inching closer to try and see it better. The first thought was that it was a red-shouldered hawk with a strange morphology. However, that white head and that very long tail with more tawny brown than black in the stripes fits perfectly with the description of a juvenile northern goshawk. With the warm rain this week, I thought it'd be a good time to go to the Utica marsh and look for amphibians breeding. While there, I did witness some muskrats courting, but it's too far away to see well on this clip. However, they locked arms and spun around in circles, similar to a ballroom dance. As far as amphibians go, I did hear loads of spring peepers and some wood frogs. Unfortunately though, I failed at getting a visual. Back at the sanctuary the next day, in the vernal pool, it was evident that some amphibians had had success breeding the previous night. The majority of these eggs belong to wood frogs. They have consistently bred in this vernal pool year after year. And we even hear them through the morning and the afternoon calling to each other. But the more prestigious prize I hope to witness on my herpetology hunts are the ambystoma salamanders. Unfortunately, I did not see any living specimens this spring. But here is a pile of 5 dead ones in this pond. I'm curious as to what killed them. Perhaps they got suffocated by too much algae, or there's some sort of pollutant in the pond. But what I think the most likely scenario is that as they were breeding, the temperature dropped, their bodies got too cold, and they lost movement and the ability to make it safely out of the pond back to the shelter before drowning. This wetland is just a trace remnant of the glory it once beheld back before they built the Sangertown Mall in 1980. There appears to be at least 2 pair of Canada geese looking at nesting here at the Sangertown Mall. One pair was even checking out the old beaver lodge. A pair of mallards is also utilizing this little urban oasis. And it also makes for good hunting grounds for avian predators such as this red-tailed hawk. But the real show, at least a couple of nights this week, came from the blackbirds. Mostly red-winged blackbirds mixed in with some common grackles. Early in the evening, there were hundreds of them, maybe 800 or so by my estimation. But they steadily trickled in. The number consistently grew until there were close to 20,000. And right as the sun started setting, the show began. Bursts of clouds coming from all directions. And they fly in coordinated clusters that reminds me of sardines. And out of thin air, a river flowed in from the southwest. And over the course of about 15 minutes or so, they trickled down into the reeds where they will roost for the evening. And just as it looks like the flock is thinning out, another one comes in. I coincidentally found this event while out on a date on Saturday evening. I came back the next night with my camera to film this. Then, about 4 days later, when I came back, the majority of the blackbirds did not return. When they were finished, they could not be seen except when they moved, but they were easily heard. Although the show the following morning was not nearly as dramatic, it was still impressive knowing the numbers in there that I could not see. It is worth noting, after the blackbirds quieted down and the mall closed, the nightlife did pick up. A pair of hooded mergansers showed up. It'd be great if they used the wood duck nest boxes to nest in. And muskrats worked on their lodges all evening long. And I should mention, to help redeem their PR image, we've redubbed them aquatic wattle cats. And just as I was about to leave, I got to watch a great blue heron stalking its prey. And that's all until next time.